and welcome to So Farscape.
A fun-filled Farscape fan cast by a fervent fan.
And a frankly fascinated first-timer.
I'm Kaki.
I'm Kay.
And this is the story So Farscape. We're back, baby.
With a vengeance. And, well, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
No, this is really good. We're doing episode 206, picture if you will. And, man, this is peak Farscape.
All right.
Like, it's felt a bit weird this season so far. Like, it's totally much darker. And it sort of feels like, with this episode, I don't know, like... Actually, yeah, what am I doing?
This thrilling episode.
What does it feel like for you?
Well, we're going straight into that right now. Okay.
Okay. Let me lead you there. So, Story So Farscape. This season has started with kind of a tragic tale in mind the baby. Very complicated.
Right. The run out of the season finale from season 1, dealing with the aftermath of Moya's child being born, the little gunboat diplomat, and the effect that has had on the crew until Craze makes off with Boya.
Talon, stop this senseless behavior.
Talon, sorry.
Very good.
And after that, a few episodes where there's been a lot of, I guess, soul-searching and just like general misery for the crew.
Yeah, we've had like episodes explicitly centering on other cast members.
Yes.
Other than John. So we had Vitas Mortis, which was a Dargo episode.
Dargo.
Then there was Taking the Stone, which was Chiana.
Chiana!
And now we've got a Zan episode. But I think one of the things that we remarked on with, I think, Vitas Mortis and to a lesser degree Taking the Stone, was this sort of mystery was being developed that took a long time to figure out, that we figured out sooner than the characters. And this time around was another sort of mystery episode, kind of like Crackers Don't Matter.
Something's going on and we don't know what it is. Yeah. There's a few interesting misdirections early on.
And they really landed for me.
Yes.
Even coming back to it again. So
I mean, it feels a little bit like a Villain of the Week episode, but
right.
It's like the cue of Farscape returns, I suppose.
You know, that comparison was not lost on the fandom. When Maldus was introduced in That Old Black Magic in season 1, which featured, Grant Bowler, the fantastic, beautiful Australian actor who would later go on to star in Defiance, also helmed by Rockne Sobana. Yeah.
Oh, I guess they worked well together. So.
Yeah. And the villain has now returned. Hey, spoilers, but...
a villain has returned. It's not like they have a lack of them at the moment.
Hey, did you figure out that it was a Maldus episode?
No.
Okay, despite the fact that it was Chris Haywood, the actual actor who plays Maldus, in a dress.
Wait, what?
Khyven,
the
was
shopkeeper.
Actually him.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right. I was wondering about that character, that person. It's like he did a very much good impersonation of like an old witchy woman, basically.
Yeah.
So no, I did not see that. That was...
Because that's where we start. We start in it looks like a space station made of geodesic domes.
Yes, although we learn later that it's actually a ship. But yes, one of Moya's transport pods is docked to it.
I mean, it's a giant knick-knack shop.
It is, and both Chiana and Rigel are happily browsing away.
There's no rush. Browse all you like.
Chiana's wearing her traveling outfit again, but this time without an undercoat.
She doesn't have the fluffy shoulder paddings either, I noticed.
She's really pulling off the Roxette look.
Yes, and it gives lots of accents on her. You can very clearly see her jawline and her...
it's a very flattering...
The shadow accents on the makeup are fantastic. It makes her look absolutely amazing. I mean, she always looks amazing, but...
And then we have the shopkeeper Khyven, who's like half Irish, half Jamaican.
You should have that tiara as a keepsake of your homeworld.
Yes, a little bit like that. It's like I said, it felt a bit like, like one of those little old witchy women in the swamps of Louisiana feeling that I was getting from this. Except the shop was much too brightly lit for that. Yeah, Rigel tries to scam her out of a Nerian headdress or something.
Oh, yes, an authentic Nerian tiara. Oh, no, it's a fake. And I should know, I gave hundreds of them to my wives.
Yes. Actually, well, do you think they were fakes? The fake ones that he gave were real ones? You can interpret that both ways. That
exactly.
He actually gave them... Yeah.
Exactly. Little Rigel, you don't play a player. Actually, Rigel is a pretty good ally to Chiana when she's looking at this knick-knack that she's considering because she prefers to decorate herself.
Right.
Oh, no, it's a fake.
Worthless.
Synthetic.
And what's-face goes,
If you like it, what difference does it make?
If it's not worth anything.
Then I don't like it.
Yeah.
Very mercenary attitude there. I like that they can find each other. Erin is not having a good time. She's basically mom, just waiting by the minivan.
Yes, while the kids are in the candy store and trying to make a decision.
Are you done?
Just pick something and go. Because apparently this is normal practice for them. Anytime that they wander past any merchant, Chiana and Rigel want to, Mom, pull over.
We want to go out and check out
shop,
the...
Mom!
And they are about to leave with only the tiny Hynerian headdress, which is like a tiara, which he buys for 1 food cube, which much to...
Erin's chagrin, because they are low on food cubes.
Although we see them eating plenty later. I noticed they still have some crackers around.
Yes, we see Erin at one point eating not a food rectangle even, but like an oblate spheroid.
I want to talk about that scene later, but we'll get there.
Or it might be, I don't know, it looks like a biscuit, but it might be a coaster, who knows. And Chiana, she's eating these, I mean, they look like prawn crackers.
I think they're poppadoms, to be honest.
Yes, that's what they are. They're space poppadoms, which we've seen before in their dinner scenes. And there's an interesting scene with John and Erin at the midpoint, when they're in the center chamber, where while they're having a really kind of weird conversation for us, John is climbing all over just looking for
That's the scene that I wanted to talk about,
right,
yes. When
he
starts by zooling in the food processor, and then he just starts...
I'm sorry, you've got to explain that for the listeners at home, because this is a neologism that you invented.
Of course, yes. So the practice of zooling is when you're kind of peckish in the middle of the night, right, any time of the day, really, and you just wander over the fridge, you open the fridge, you look into the fridge, and then you close the fridge again without taking anything out of it, because nothing there strikes your fancy.
Sort of like when Sigourney Weaver opened the fridge in Ghostbusters and the light blasts out.
And it goes zoom. And then she just closes the fridge again.
Yeah. So, okay. Getting ahead of ourselves, but it's kind of important. This episode is actually a little bit out of order.
Oh?
Okay, so it was filmed before The Way We Weren't. So their character relationships are a little bit weird, but this is kind of the settled upon order. Like the season flows a little bit better this.
It seems to work. It's like there's no real glaring weird ways in which they react to each other that you wouldn't expect. I mean, John still has a little bit of his calm one moment, angry the next, but that seems to be evening out a little bit.
Mostly it feels weird with Erin, who has shown this extreme like understanding and compassion of Chiana.
Right, yeah.
And now she winds up talking about how she'd love to kick Rigel off the ship. It was up to her.
Maybe even Chiana. And John gets really weird and passive-aggressive about it, really. Oh, maybe you want to kick me off as well, and maybe you want to kick Pilot off.
That'd be good. Then you can have the whole ship to yourself.
Is that an offer?
Which is kind of, I mean, even saying that kicking a Pilot off now would be a bit weird after they
exactly.
That they just gone through great lengths to ensure that Pilot was back and on a track with a healthy bonding with Moya.
Yeah. The kids have finally made their selection.
Chiana's been looking at a painting but decides that she doesn't want it. And the second time she looks at it, the person on that portrait kind of looks like her.
Yeah.
And she keeps getting drawn back to it, but she wants to leave without buying it. But so instead, the shopkeeper gives it to her.
Yeah. Immediate clue, red flag.
Yes, of course. Yeah, this is like, when you're looking at it from a meta standpoint, yes, this is weird. I mean, the shopkeeper waves it away with, like, you've not been given a lot in your life, have you? And which is a very, seems like a very compassionate way or a kind way to go about it. But yes, it's immediately, rarely we're getting some weird mystical item handed to us. And
because they call it a painting, but it's this like 3 layers of acrylic with spaces between them and a weird sort of octagon shaped thing wedged through it,
kind of sticking into it, out of it. It reminds me a little bit. The composition of the painting in general reminds me a little bit of the Scream, with that bridge, that orange bridge running away, and the kind of darker other thing. I wonder if that's intentional.
The vanishing point perspective of actually, that's a really interesting point. So we've reached the point in the season where the production design was completely taken over by Tim Ferrier. Mm-hmm. Before that, it was oh no. Oh, it's escaped from my brain. I used to know the exact name of the production designer. Oh, dear. Sorry, everyone at home. I know that you rely on me for these factual things, but now it's Tim Ferrier. Oh, just the way that Guy Gross has taken over as the composer for Farscape with the previous episode. And so he designed these sets. He was already a production designer and did a lot of artwork. So for him to be able to combine set design and, prop design in this case, like he must have created these paintings. I thought it came together really well.
It looked fantastic, I'll give you that. So yes, the painting shows her wearing a necklace, and the shopkeeper tells her that it is a window in time.
It's a window in time.
And
a window in time. The accent went all over the place. It was so good.
A window into time.
And this is such a good fake out. You get real close-ups on Chris Haywood.
Yes.
And I
did not catch it at all, but
even afterward, I had to look up, was that the same actor?
Yes.
Because he did a very good job.
The moment they're back on Moy, she's wandering through the corridor with her new painting, which she's strangely obsessed with.
Yeah,
it's like
she's just holding it. My precious.
Exactly. And she spots a DRD, which is quietly buzzing by, carrying the necklace that she wore and that she lost half a cycle ago.
Yeah. And she talks to the DRD. Apparently she can understand...
DRD?
Yeah, she speaks DRD, fetches the necklace back, but now she looks back at the painting, and the painting has changed.
Yes, it shows her with her leg kind of like not attached.
Yeah, it's kind of a cool way to symbolize like broken leg by having it actually detached.
And within moments, she trips over the DRD and, in fact, breaks her leg. What does the painting show? Is it a window? It's called a window in time. Does it show the future? But the one thing I had really early on in the episode that I noticed everybody had a very strong emotional response to the painting.
Yeah.
From the right way, much more than you would expect normally from just like a knick-knack in a store. So that was the first, not just the fact that it apparently shows the future, but I also noticed that everybody is like anxious around it or towards it.
Yes, I think that's also why this episode worked so well, because we've got this mystery that's slowly building where we're not being given away the clue, but we do get to see everyone's emotions.
Yes.
And it works better than in Crackers Don't Matter as well, because in Crackers Don't Matter, their whole personality and their reality matrix was suspect. And so we really didn't have anything to latch onto. But now, like, we can feel how these characters that we know well at this point are responding. Chiana is the hardest to figure out. Like, she's covetous and obsessed. But when Dargo comes in to console and consult with her after she's broken her leg, he's very calm and suspicious.
Immediately. He immediately goes to get rid of it.
And she calls him out on his Luxon superstition, which is correct. Like, we've seen how he responds to magic. In fact, the last time that they met Maldus, which they don't know is the case here, like, he's fearful of it.
And yet they have their own floating swords mysticism going on with the...
Hey, he wanted to get out of there as well when he saw that it was an Oracan.
Fairly true, yes. I mean, he did want to make a run for it right away, but then duty prevailed over that.
Exactly.
But yes, he immediately wants to get rid of the painting, and Shana's having none of it.
And then there's a rather tender moment between them.
Yes, apparently they've been developing feelings for each other.
Which they actually articulate to each other in rather a lovely moment. They talk about how the painting shows the future and how that's, attractive, but also terrifying because he worries about what it might not show.
Yes.
For instance, about his son.
Yes, that he'd rather not know that he never is going to find them again.
And also about maybe them, whether they have a future together.
Wonder if the portrait will show both of us next. Give us a glimpse of our future.
I'm not sure I want to know about that either.
Why? Because what it might not show? Or what it might?
It doesn't last long, though, this moment. I thought that was really well developed, because immediately...
Zahn manages to convince Shana to let her take a tiny chip of the painting so that she can do some research on it. And Zahn is the one who is most, fearful of the painting or dubious about it. She suspects trouble. John is dismissive. He's like, oh, whatever. It's like it shows stuff. It's are you sure? And actually, at this point, I think they still think that she's making it up, that the painting is changing. They don't quite believe that.
Yeah. John is trying to be... He's actually the most science jock that I've seen him in a while.
He doesn't do any science.
Well...
he said, I have a theory, not a hypothesis, or the other way around.
Yes, exactly. When you start talking, no, I don't have a theory, I have a hypothesis. Ha, geek check, nerd.
Bunch of geeks!
And also, trying to figure out... it's probably a coincidence. Piecing it all together, that's his... That's his role. He tries to do the science thing. I think you're really onto something with them all having these strong emotions. Aaron is sort of angry, and Zahn is fearful.
Although Aaron is the most down-to-earth one in this episode.
That's another thing about this episode that I really liked. And it was... I know we're getting ahead of ourselves for the Willies and the Woodies a bit early on, but I remembered in my first watch through not particularly loving this episode because we've just come off of The Way We Weren't, lots of backstory, really developing this world. And then it's just a monster of the week, and it wasn't even my favorite monster.
What's your favorite? Creamsicle or bicycle?
But I really came to love it, and I really love how the whole crew works as a team now.
Yes, they've all been playing. They play off each other's strengths. They know what everybody's going to how people are going to respond, and that know their thoughts and ideas behind it. They're not really wondering like, oh, why are you doing this stupid thing? And they go like, oh no, that's just how this person reacts to a crisis situation. That's just what they do.
They accept each other. They support each other. Like every scene is about like even when they're at odds with each other, as Dargo and Chiana are. Dargo wants her to get rid of the painting. But he's still like, it's from a place of caring. They all care about each other.
Don't you really care about what happens to me?
Shouldn't I?
Of course you should. I'm glad you do.
Which, it made it an absolute joy to watch. Actually, they don't all care about each other. We see Zaan's apothecary being raided by Rigel.
Who is poking around there, who's using some sort of one of the potions that she has there. He sniffs it. He goes like, "I never forget a scent." Dabs it on the tiara, and it starts to glow, and thereby he proclaims it is genuine.
And Zaan is really upset with him
for poking into his stuff without being asked. Yes.
Oh, I'm surprised you're using my possessions without my consent, Rigel. Especially after what I did to you the last time.
Zaan's responses to everyone have been much harsher lately. Like she's also kind of snippy with Chiana.
She has been a lot more brusque, I would say, but that's been ever since she's had her crisis of faith, and I
think it's turned up a bit since the second season started, where she she reverted to the Seek and closed herself off.
No, exactly, yeah. That's
the one you mean. Oh, sorry, I thought you meant the one from Rhapsody in Blue.
Right, that's true.
Also directed by Andrew Prowse, I think, which is also the director for this one.
I noticed that all her sciences all seems to be all chemistry based. So just like put a drop of this and a drop of that on it, and then peer at it through your microscope, or just like put it in ray against tubes and everything. She doesn't do oscilloscopes. It's all chemically oil based tinctures.
Oh, you're right. Oh, that's such a shame because they have the really cool like CRT monitor that Aaron used on Frozen Rigel way back in the day. Notice, by the way, she's got her chemistry gown on over top her regular gown, and over top that she's got it's the golden thing that's called a gorget.
Right.
Bostich told us that we Bostich.
Yes, my face is up here writing on it.
Yeah. Which, by the way, notice how shiny it is.
Yes.
And then notice in a later scene how it looks like cardboard painted in gold, because then there's a stunt version of this prop apparently.
Oh, okay, that they don't want to break.
So this is the nice one, and then when she's got to lie on the ground and be knocked around and have Mulder step on her.
I kind of attributed that to the funhouse mirror effect that was applied to those scenes. Good. But yes.
With the science being done, we have the scene between John and Aaron in the center chamber. That's a little bit out of place in the continuity, but, that's okay.
John's just doing, apparently he can't decide what he wants to eat, and we see him still munching down a few from the crackers that don't matter. But as he goes to see Zaan, she has a bit of a jump scare because she's hearing things.
Yes, that's right, this weird voice.
She knocks a few things over, but it's only John who is, coming in to talk to her. And this is the first time when she already starts to voice her concerns, and she says, do you trust me?
Soon there may come a time when I need you and everyone to do exactly as I say, quickly and without question. Do you have enough faith in me to obey?
Yep.
And he goes yep. And then she
goes
really
like that.
Can't speak for the others, but when the time comes for you to make your move, I'll back you up.
Thank you, John.
Go take the painting away, and he goes yep.
Okay.
She was already, and he kind of had this looks like, have we started already? But he was going to do that anyway. That's already something that he was planning on doing.
Yeah, I really like this moment because he thinks about it for a second for her question, do you have enough faith in me to obey?
Yes.
He has to think about it. He says, well, I don't know, I can't speak for the others, but yeah, I've got your back.
Yep. He wanders through the corridors, runs into Dargo, who goes what are you doing? I'm going to take the painting away. Funny, that's what I was going to do as well.
Yeah, a bit. I don't totally love that they came to this decision. Oh, we're going to take one of our crewmates' possessions away. We've decided. That's what Dargo says.
I've decided we must take that painting away from Chiana. It's no good for her.
I've decided that I'm going to take it away from her.
Right, but that's Dargo's way of working. And when he makes a command decision, then he takes that authority, whether or not he's due it or not.
And I think they've also decided that Chiana is maybe being adversely affected by it.
Right.
And needs to be protected from it because it has changed again.
Yes, just as they're approaching, the painting changes again, and it shows her covered in flames.
Girl on fire,
so
listener Redshirt, Wookiee Redshirt, that's, I almost said his whole name.
Oh dear.
Called it in his fantastic synopsis. Yeah, they hear the scream of Chiana, who's by now she's wearing her necklace.
Oh yes, when I saw the DRD walking around with it, or actually scooting around with it, I thought it looked a bit like Christmas tinsel. You know, there's like one of those
right, yeah,
those fuzzy snakes that you put in a Christmas tree. Oh. But now that she's wearing it, you can actually see that it's made out of little strips, which are presumably around a center string or cable, which allow it to shift and move.
This is some brilliant costume choices because it's made out of all these sort of crescent-shaped pieces with the points pointing away from the skin. So, like, any necklace that she would have worn would have rubbed away her makeup because she wears it against the skin. And she has, she, like me, she enjoys showing off a fair bit of cleavage when she wears her outfits. So they probably have to choose something that can sit against her skin, but then the area that against her skin is hidden from view.
Right, it has to be always covered and not rub off on the other spots. Yes, that makes good sense. So she flies into a panic. Dargo carries her away from the room while the painting gets carted off, and she's hot. I'm like, she's having hot flashes. Like, I'm burning up, and it's like, no, you're not. You're just like
and
imagining.
Aaron says, yeah, you're fine. Aaron is cold-blooded, so if she can't detect a fever on you, then
fair point. She demands that she gets shoved into the fridge.
Dargo doesn't hesitate.
No, he just he's concerned about her. He does what she says.
Does what she wants.
He figures that she knows what's best going on. She's terrified of catching fire,
and so into the freezer she goes
because. How long can she survive in there? And Pilot goes like, well, I can just turn the temperature up and turn the airflow on
and
higher.
make it into not a freezer, basically.
Well, maybe have it not be a freezer, but an ice box instead, or a chill box rather than a proper freezer.
Oh, that does sound nice.
A chill box, yes.
Yeah. So she's sort of like that lovely little gif of a husky puppy that's climbed into the freezer because he's so hot
and refuses to come out again.
It's nope. And the owner's trying to pull him by the paw. It's like, no, it's nice in here. It's fine.
Finally, a climate that I'm used to.
Yeah.
The painting goes to Zahn, and then we have a very disturbing scene in which Chiana seems to catch fire inside the freezer. The doors are locked. Pilot can't open them.
Oh, yeah.
Dargo can't break them open. They try to shoot the door open, and it's like, doesn't work.
And that always works.
Yes.
So for that not to work, like, you shoot the control panel, as Aaron does, it's supposed to open.
Open, yes. It's one of those things that you shouldn't have in your evil overlord fortress, or actually have the doors made that if you shoot the controls on the outside, it locks, and if you shoot the controls on the inside, it opens.
Yes, feel safe from the outside, feel secure from the inside.
There you go, yeah.
Or no, wait, the other way around. Feel secure from the... Sorry, yes. We'd have gotten some horrible tweets from our nerds, otherwise we've gotten that one wrong.
Yes. There's a little bit of flash fire, and then when the door opens, there's just the necklace and a pile of ash, or not even that, just a little sooty burns mark.
Yeah, and that's the last episode with Chiana. Yeah. So it's been a good run. Like, it's a good thing that we got to talk to Gigi Edgley before we got to her final episode.
Okay, at this point I'm going like, okay, this is like something. I mean, there's no burnt horribleness. There's like, this is not right.
And also, this is not how you bump off a
main
major character.
No, that too. So,
although, I mean,
she does have some plot armor there.
I mean, Chiana was originally written for like a single episode.
No, true.
That gunshot from Durka that grazed her was supposed to mortally wound her so that she would die tragically, and then they decided to keep her around. So, at any point that sort of tentacles can come down. And
true. I mean, you always have that on TV shows, I suppose.
I'm sorry, Gigi, your accent was weird. You told me to do weird accents. Then it was Australian. Then it was, and then you overdubbed like part of the scenes. Sorry, Chiana.
It depends, I guess, on the director and what they were telling her to do. Let's see. There's a little bit of...
We all have to process the loss now.
Yes, everybody's sitting around being a little bit sad and mopey.
Well, Rigel processes his grief by blaming other people.
Yes.
Why couldn't you save her? You had warning. You could have done something.
And he's not even going through Chiana's stuff, so he must be really heartbroken.
Yeah, because when Zahn bites back, like, you didn't do anything at all.
Yeah.
He can reflect quite how much she resembled him.
Right. How much she liked him, and that she would have made a good Hynerian.
Yeah. How much he liked her for it. we've never heard Rigel talking about liking people.
Someone, no.
We've never really interrogated what Rigel thinks of everyone else on this ship. But he really liked Chiana.
Yeah, I can see how he would consider her to be a bit of a, maybe himself a little bit of a mentor, or at least a partner in crime.
Right.
Although he would never see it as crime, of course.
Of course not.
No.
A Dominar acquires. Snurch.
Zahn sets fire to the painting. She pours some gel on it and sets it on fire. And I'm just like, okay, like that's really like, inside a spaceship. Are you really supposed to have open fires, But,
well, I mean, they've talked about how do we destroy it. She says,
Fire would be a fitting end.
Yeah.
She's got her reagents. She's got a jar of fire paste that she sort of shakes out. About that much will do.
Maybe that's just for the Korean barbecue that they have on Fridays, and that they normally use that to light the salver.
Oh, you can't say food things to me because then that's all I can think about for the rest of the day. And now we're definitely having Korean barbecue.
We still have a croissant in the kitchen.
I like that she has a dedicated table for lighting shit on fire.
I assume that's her fume hood or whatever it is. That would make most sense.
I mean, she's doing all this in the maintenance bay, where also, maintenance. Hey, bit of plot foreshadowing.
Oh yes,
Aaron's Prowler is being maintained by some DRDs. I always like seeing DRDs up against.
I noticed
against the side of things.
So I guess they kind of have like suction capability that they. I mean, it makes sense if they have to work on the outside of Moya that they can like stick to surfaces and not have problems. The only question is that like, how do they make the transition around
right?
Maybe that's why Moya doesn't have so few right angles. So they can kind of just like ooze themselves off the wall.
I mean, the very first time that we see a DRD, it's on the seen from the inside. It's crawling over the canopy of the Farscape 1.
Yeah, who does not have any round surfaces, so they must have been able to jump onto it for some way or the other.
There's a scene that I often reference. I'm going to have to walk you through here. I think it's Asterix and Obelix, one of the live-action French Asterix films with
Gérard Depardieu.
Very good. And there's the evil vizier, and then there's the final sort of battle between Asterix and the vizier, neither of whom are played by very physical actors, but they're doing all of these athletic stunts on giant poles. Giant like bamboo poles that are being used as scaffolding, and there's a great moment where the villain comes to a halt in a fantastic pose where he's doing a split between two of these poles, and then Asterix goes, but how are you going to get upright again? And then the the vizier goes, comme ça, like this, and just ascends, and you don't see how he does it. Yeah, but Asterix is just impressed. Oh, comme ça. So that must be how the DRDs get up walls as well.
How do you get up there?
Screen.
Very easily, yes.
So everything's been dealt with, and it's a surprisingly short episode of Farscape, only 20 minutes.
Yeah.
They've avenged Chiana's death, and they move on with their lives, but unfortunately, no such luck.
No.
While Aaron is interrogating...
pilots, trying to figure out... She's doing a bit of blamestorming almost, like trying to figure out what went wrong, how could this have happened, why did the fridge catch fire, and pilots going like... It's nothing that Moya did. It's like, everything's fine.
He's like the PR rep for Moya Incorporated. No, there is no liability implied. Like, everything was in order.
Leviathans do not spontaneously catch fire. There was no evidence of Moya's systems malfunctioning. Then why couldn't you open the door? She must have jammed it when she closed it.
It can only be attributable to user error.
Right, yes.
Wow, that is so cold,
the
pilot.
The imperfection is not Moya's.
Never have we seen him act more like an accountant than here.
I've told you, no malfunction of Moya's caused that fire. Nor was it an error of control on my part.
But Crichton walks in and he gets what Aaron's doing. Like, he skips over everything she's saying and the attitude that she's given. Like, it's not your fault. Because that's what she's doing.
Right. She's trying to blame herself and see what she could have done differently.
Yeah. And to try and find some reason why it wouldn't be her fault, because that's what she's blaming herself, and he says not to do that. But they don't get to enjoy their crisis very long because that bitch is back.
Yeah, the painting has returned, and now it is showing Dargo. Dargo takes another management decision, just picks it up and smashes it. There we go. Down with it.
I love how the team is all here together. They're around this thing. What do? Smash it. Like, this is not the next generation.
No.
We're not going to study it anymore. We're bored with studying
We're
it.
just going to get rid of it. It gets smashed to pieces, which then are swept up. Apparently, it's quite a bit of waste to do a garbage chute, but John wanders over to a place where he can dump it into a corridor.
I wonder if it's the same one that Dargo got...
flushed out of?
Yeah.
Oh, who knows?
It's one of the little flush tubes. I
mean, I suppose that most of the recycling happens inside Moya, and there's like not often need for just like throwing something out into space, so...
Yeah.
I was going to say, it seems like an awful long way to go for a trash chute, but in the central chamber, they probably have receptacles for food waste and other that they can just goes back into Moya's processing. And
we made a pact on the life on Moya. We're never going to talk about Moya's toilets. I still hold you to it.
I'm talking about the trash cans, not about the toilets.
You're talking about waste in general. I know that you're inching onto the subject. It's not Lex. We don't.
Fair enough. Okay, so it gets thrown out. They move away at it at hatch 6, I believe, or hatch 7.
Very good, hatch 6. But Zahn is still hearing those.
Yes, he's
those
hearing
voices.
voices and ooh.
Aaron is off to interrogate the shopkeeper and try and get some clarity, if not revenge.
She wants to take a prowler, but they're still under maintenance because Dargo and John, right at the beginning, told pilots to take a few of the DRDs, which were performing the scheduled maintenance on it.
Which was overdue. Yeah, some lovely, domestic plot setup there.
There's a tiny little look between each other from but John very graciously says, why don't you take my module?
Yeah.
I love my module.
She has no respect for his module.
Wanders away, piece of drill.
Yeah, she's like, oh, Dad's Tesla, and Mom's... Yeah, okay, so Mom, they've got minivans, those are the transports.
Yeah.
The ridiculous, Tesla prototype that Dad's really proud of.
I was going to say, let's go with more like Dad's DeLorean, which he's been lovingly restoring.
Yes, that's what it is.
Especially because it's got the Moya Tech bits on, so it's actually the DeLorean after they had the future upgrade.
It's the souped up DeLorean. Oh, that's great. It's so impractical. He's so proud of it.
Yes.
And what's the prouder then? That's
that must be her Lexus or something.
Oh, no, it's got to be sexier than that because it's most practical. It's the most... it's not a truck.
A Ventador?
Ooh, that sounds like a fancy one. I don't actually know cars very well.
No, I think an Aventador is a Lamborghini, but don't pin me down on that.
Speaking of pinning down, the painting has changed again with a sort of needle through Dargo's chest.
Yes.
Which Dargo recognizes as that...
Symbolizes a Qualter blade.
That must be just Luxon iconography because it does not look like that to me.
So that was hilarious because they see that he's being pierced through. The Qualter blades gets passed to Zahn and she gets go put this somewhere far away. John is very practically goes, we'll have to keep you out in the open away from pointy objects. Right as Dargo walks in front of this big spike that we've never seen before, which is randomly sticking out of the...
Whoa! Yes, we have. Oh, I'm sorry. That's one of the front prongs of Aaron's prowler.
Oh, it is. Okay, I didn't see what it was.
I've never quite understood how that works. It's got a big sort of Cyrano de Bergerac nose on the front of the cockpit.
Yes.
And then it's got these two pods that stick out of the sides with extensor rods.
Yeah.
And these prongs on the front.
They probably have a purpose.
They're the engine modules because when she picks up Dargo in space the first time that it gets space, she can actually angle them upwards.
Right, yes. One of the engines, which is still being worked on by the DRDs, which mysteriously short circuits, fires, shoots off the prowler, and it goes spiking straight through Dargo.
Who shatters
yes.
like glass.
Like the painting did.
Yeah.
Just before. And disappears. He's gone. He's he gets spiked through. He gets he does his big Luxon scream, and we cut to.
I'm sorry. Hold on. Remember how when he got spaced in They Have Got a Secret, episode 10 of season 1, we were worrying how exactly Aaron managed to grab hold of him in space.
Yeah.
Using only her prowler.
Could have just spiked him.
Yeah, exactly. Is that kind of what she did? She just sort of maneuver the prowler up and then just, let's pick a spot, back of the calf. That's probably fine. Not too many tendons and just straight through and just harpoon him back.
That would be awkward and painful. Well, he was already almost dead, so that he probably wouldn't have felt it. But yeah, let's not dwell on these matters, shall we?
No, let's descend into a weird, wibbly-wobbly netherworld.
Yes.
Where Dargo finds himself. I liked that they didn't do another mystery fake out and bury Dargo as well. We've done that.
Yes.
Now let's see what's
happening. We're about halfway into the episode at this point, I think.
And all the way into the painting.
Yes.
Because where he is sort of looks the same way. You've got the yellow brick road and these sort of keyhole-shaped archways around the side.
And everything is funhouse mirror everything's being funhouse mirror distorted.
It's such a cool effect.
Yes.
Everything's sort of wibbly wobbly. At first, I thought maybe they went to the expense of masking out the actors and only having it apply to the background. That's how it looks. But eventually you see that it's affecting them as well.
Dargo sees that Chiana's still there and starts to like wander around in hopes of finding her.
But no, she appears in one of the archways was when he crosses through, just like upside down and enlarged.
And then he's in a big central room which has that same octagon type structure standing on a pedestal.
Is that the right shape?
No, it's not. It's more a cube. Or it's a tesseract, I think, but...
No, a tesseract is a four-dimensional cube.
Right, you have a three-dimensional representation of it, but it's something like that.
It's very difficult. No, I think it is an octagon. Yeah, because it consists of like two four-sided pyramids.
Yeah.
It's a D8.
Okay. Yeah,
with all the ribs showing.
There's a little bit of running around in there, but nothing really happens in that scene.
Yeah, you just get to enjoy this fantastic set design by Tim Ferrier.
You just know that they're alive and they're like trapped, apparently.
Weird magical mystery crap, which is what John calls it when he talks to Zan. He's figured out that some weird stuff's going on because...
You're talking like it just started moving, it just spiked him, and he disappeared.
Yeah.
The painting, meanwhile, shows who's next, which is John, who looks like he's going to be electrocuted.
It looked like the cover of it looked like the poster of the film Weird Science.
It does a bit.
So, like he's going to create, a computer, an even more excellent woman than...
wouldn't it have been amazing if it was like John Crichton that is the one being created by the science?
I've got to say
you've got a hot science jock instead of...
Yeah. If I was going to use a computer to create an interesting sexual partner, I could,
see, that would probably be one of the considerations. Fair cop.
And I'd save all the other various options for just my own little private thoughts, my own little private corner.
But he is very accepting about it. He goes like, okay, I guess I'm next. He doesn't go into a fit. He doesn't go into panic.
Right, I'm next.
He's just
weird, right?
He's shown fatalistic tendencies before, like with the mushrooms in Taking the Stone.
Oh, very good.
So he's not afraid to die anymore, it seemed, up to the point of being almost seeking it out, I'd say. But yeah, Erin is not gone alone, because she hears something behind her in the Prowler, and she immediately draws her gun and points it at what turns out to be Rigel.
Don't shoot! It's me!
Reason enough to pull the trigger. What are you doing here?
She pulls it on the dual-knobbed steering wheel to sort of knock him against the back of her seat.
Yep.
Then grabs her gun because Rigel has tagged along.
Yes, he snuck inside the module and wants to go along because he wants to get punishment. Sorry, what's it called again?
Punitive damages.
He wants to get punitive damages from the...
Yeah, Erin is outraged. You just want a profit instead of revenge. He says, can it be both?
Yeah.
And he says, it's what Chiana would have wanted.
She kind of agrees with him at this point.
She was quite a lot like me, She had spirit, ambition, large appetites.
That is solid reasoning. Yeah, Chiana would have wanted Khyven to pay.
Yep.
One way or another, Khyven will make restitution.
Khyven, who is kind of cowering on board her ship when Erin shows up. And at first she's actually, you came back. And Erin wastes no time, draws a gun on her and says, okay, tell us what that was. Tell us what you've done, what has happened.
And the poor woman from Dublin/Kingston goes, he made me do it.
Who made you do it? And this is where we learned that it was Maldis.
Maldis. Oh, I'm trying to do the blended accent. Maldis. Oh, I can't even do it. Big news.
Yes.
Maldis is back.
Maldis returned.
Can't be Maldis. We destroyed him.
Now, we don't... it's fortunate that we've binged this series, because if we didn't know who Maldis was, then... I was thinking, your boyfriend joined us for last episode, which was not really a great, first episode of Farscape to watch because everyone's so weird. And I thought in this one, hey, maybe this one would have been a good episode to watch for the first time instead.
Probably yes, although, yes, he wouldn't have known who Maldis is, except that he gets explained. He gets explained as a psychic vampire, that he feeds off people's fear and anger.
Oh, yes, once we get back to the magical mystery realm, actually, you're right. Dargo has to explain who Maldis is to Chiana, because she wasn't there.
Yes.
He's a sort of space energy vampire. He sucks the life force out of you, and John goes,
He just plain sucks.
because he's prepared for what's coming. Because John and Zaan get the news. Zaan shuts down. She starts praying again like she did before.
Yeah.
And when John tries to grab her and tell her, hey, I need your help. This is your forte.
Yeah. She grabs him by the head and does a little mind melt type thing so that she can talk to him in private.
Sharing the unity that they've shared before.
Yes.
And, oh, my little nerd heart went all aflutter when I heard what he said immediately before. Don't go chicken on me.
Don't go chicken on me here.
Yeah.
Do you remember the last time that they did unity was when he called her a chicken?
Oh, no, I didn't remember that.
Yeah, it was in at the end of Rhapsody in Blue when he tried to taunt her into doing unity with him again. Mm-hmm. He got, bark, 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 bark.
You translated microbes handle that one?
Oh, that's a nice little... Do you know that the scriptwriter, Peter Neale, for this episode, and that name sounds familiar to me for some reason.
Yeah.
It's not for Farscape. It's his only episode.
Okay.
Once again, a one-time scriptwriter just delivering a fantastic script. And in this private little powwow that they're able to have, she tells him to ignore what I say next.
Yes, she restates that he has to do what she tells him to, and yes, ignore what I'm going to say next. And
because Zaan's got a plan.
Yes, she breaks the contact and she starts acting all panically. Oh, I'm afraid, and we can't. We're going to lose this. And
John doesn't even need to act.
No,
because he rejects that and says, "No, we can fix this." But she says, no, the only thing we can do is shorten our suffering.
And shoves him into the electric panel.
The Prowler kills another crew member. If it wasn't for Maldis, Pilot would have a lot of explaining to do.
There was nothing wrong with the freezer.
Well, about people suddenly randomly starting to die on their ship?
There was no reason for it.
This would be an insurance liability nightmare.
I've told you.
I mean, it would be a little bit like Dale and Tucker versus Evil. Like, we've been having a doozy of a day, officer. These kids just came running onto my property and started killing themselves.
Oh, gosh.
Yes, I can see how Pilot would try to have a conversation like that. It's like, I don't know, they just started offing themselves.
No liability is acknowledged or can be proved.
By Moya Corp. Yes.
I love the idea now that there's a Leviathan incorporated and he is an actual representative for them at all times.
Yeah, we have John joining them in the painting world.
John has also arrived in the land of Oz.
Yes.
Get it? Because it's Australia. Yes, thank you.
The yellow brick road under the Bridge of Scream with the keyhole.
Where it's all wibbly-bibbly.
Yeah.
He sees Dargo, who's sideways through the archways.
He explains to Dargo that it was Maldis.
Who appears to cackle and gloat.
Haven't you read the Supervillain's Handbook? This is where you're supposed to twirl your mustache and gloat.
I don't have a mustache, John.
Maldis gets such fantastic lines.
I must say he's looking good.
Yeah. He's still got the yellow eyes. He sort of looks like the Emperor from Star Wars. Mm-hmm. And, okay, so John's whole thing here, that's the thing that Zaan told him when they shared unity.
Yeah.
We have to keep him distracted by you.
You must focus Maldis's attention on you for as long as possible.
And John's like, can do.
Yeah, and he just he goes antagonizing him.
Come on, you old bastard, show me your ugly face.
He's just talking smack.
And it works really well.
Yes, he almost gets him into monologuing about the plan and how he's caught everybody and how he's going to deliciously feed off all their energy and power.
And it really pisses him off at some point when he asks him to sing a song.
Could you do that farewell goodbye song the kids sing?
And Maldis just yells, I don't do requests! Yeah. Like, whoa, Maldis, who hurt you?
Yeah, well, John did. Although apparently, and John is trying to goad him by like, oh, I killed you once and I can kill you again, and trying to make it about him. And Maldis goes like, oh, it's not about you.
It's kicked my ass and saved yours.
It's about Zaan.
Delicious lines.
Yes.
That's why I killed all of you, to make her watch.
And I want to hurt her and feed on her terror forever. And
we see Zaan, who's alone on Moya with her gold gorget and gold bracers, I think they are.
Yeah.
Lovely and shiny. Last time we see them so lovely and shiny, being taunted by these voices.
Which turns out to be Maldis calling out her name in the mirror world.
Yes. But while John's got him distracted, she has an opportunity to go to Pilot and talk to Pilot without Maldis hearing.
Again, same conversation. Do as I say.
Yeah. Do you understand?
Frankly, no.
But I will obey.
Yes.
Not in the slightest.
He calls out her name again, and like as we saw in the painting where she was like doing the like walk like an Egyptian pose or something.
And yeah, falling into 1,000 pieces.
Yeah, and again, we have another OSHA violation on Moya, because those bloody bridges don't have any guardrails.
Exactly.
So
Leviathan Inc. has a lot of explaining to do.
This is a terrible episode for their safety record.
Yeah, she falls off into a void that we don't get to see. Oh, yeah, because The Way We Weren't hadn't been filmed yet. No. And so the sort of underset underneath Pilot hadn't been built yet.
I guess wasn't there, yes. But again, shatters into pieces and falls onto the ground at Maldus's feet.
And now her gorget is rubbish.
Ah, okay, so that's
Do you see it now? Like she's got, it looks like a panto prop.
It looks like it's... Yeah.
It's not even shiny, it's rubbish.
I mean, it's just like, I guess they want to be careful with the proper genuine thing.
Yeah. Or maybe this is just what stuff looks like in the real world. You don't get to have shinies.
No, the Gold Road is also not particularly shiny, but that just looks like carpeting, to be honest.
Everybody gets trapped in these keyholes, which was apparently a nightmare for the director and actors to sort of keep straight.
Right.
They're all green screens.
Right, where are we looking at? Yeah,
who's where? Who are we looking at now?
Yeah.
What was through here again?
No, I mean, they pulled it off very well. There's like a lot of more like wibbly-wobbly faces in people. It now. Which I thought like was really fun. Like the fun was like you get these like camera effects when suddenly John's face is really small but his head is big, and then if his head goes really narrow, and you're going like, look, some of those could be a good look, but
it's like you're playing with a slider on the character creator.
Exactly.
On
yes.
the Morpega. That.
Maldus
back some memories.
Yeah, Maldus literally walks over Zahn,
which is why the prop had to be
right. And he's like gloating, he's like sucking up their power. They're all trying to be brave and trying to be not afraid, but he shows that he knows their deep fears because addresses to each and every one of them something that would send them with back into terror. Like,
imagine me on Earth feeding on all of your fellow humans.
Imagine me running across your son, or imagine me sending you back home to have your attitude adjusted, I believe, or call it something, what to call it.
Weird that he said all of that to Zahn and not to like John, Dargo, and Chiana, who were right there. No, I know. I was just being silly for all the podcast. Yeah. And with all of this fear that he's absorbed, apparently he is finally strong enough to open a portal through one of the archways into Moya.
Yeah, I didn't really quite catch that at first, but why he even does that? I mean, I guess he's trying to, now that he's eaten enough, that he can actually go back and physically manifest himself, which he kind of already could, because
he created. No, don't worry, Chiana can explain it. Here we go. Yeah. Like I'm not even going to bother repeating it. We're just going to edit it in here. Hey, Chiana, how did this work again?
So lay that bit out for me, okay? When Malthus recorporealized...
What?
Well, put himself back together. He couldn't yet break through to our physical plane, so he had to manipulate matter to form Kyvan and her ship, and create the painting, which would not only bridge both realms, but also play on our fears, which would allow him to capture us and grow even stronger. Clear? Then, when Aaron blasted Kyvan, which was actually just a temporary extension of Malthus, it weakened Malthus enough for Zan to make her move. Simple.
Well, thank you.
That didn't help. Good job, Peter Neale.
Sit back and enjoy the happy ending.
Zan's left instructions with Pilot, who relays them to Aaron, who tells, like, shoot her and get the GTFO.
Yeah, that's... Like, the fact that Aaron can just be told, kill this person and leave. Oh, yeah, no problem.
Kill Kyvan and get out of there fast.
Acknowledged.
Bam. Yeah.
Right, just what? There's usually more monologuing before we...
I suppose so. I mean, I guess this is like her... I mean, that's the bond of trust that she and Pilot have that's been expressed many times now. Yep. It's like they understand it. I mean, especially in the last episode, it was like...
And from Zahn. Like, his priority message from Zahn.
Right. So she knows she knows that Pilot is genuine, so that's like, it has to be done. Yeah. She can do it. So, and she goes like, no questions asked, shoot her, and gets out. And as she does, we see the module leaving, and the entire globular ship starts breaking apart in the same glass fragments that everything else has been shattering apart into.
Yes. So it starts shattering, and then it seems to, like, as the Farscape 1 module is flying away, it seems like even that was inside a rectangular piece of glass, like it was a painting itself.
I'm almost expecting the beginning of Superman at this point, but...
you mean Superman 2? Yes, yes.
They're trapped in the dimension, the flat dimension.
In the Phantom Zone.
That's the one.
Hey, test my nerd cred. So now that his physical manifestation has been damaged, Maldus is thrown into disarray.
Right.
That was Zahn's plan.
Right.
To wait until he manifested in the real world and then just fuck him up.
Yep. He goes like,
it won't help you, because I'm much stronger than you think.
And then she goes, so am I.
She goes like she's like Miss Piggy doing Tai Chi.
She just flips up from a prone position into a flying kick.
Comme ça.
Basically,
and
boot
kicks
to
his
the
ass.
Boot to the head.
I got the pajamas.
Well, she does have the pajamas, so I guess they make the martial artist here. But yes.
John, Dargo, and Chiana are able to come through the walkways and escape through the portal that Maldus has handily created for them.
Dargo grabs Chiana, carries her off, drags her through the portal, which apparently takes a bit of effort.
Yeah, because the portal is still sort of a painting on the wall. It's like a Wile E. Coyote kind of portal.
Yeah, it's one of those tunnels, yes.
The effect was really well done. Like they sort of squeeze through here, almost sort of the liquid effect, like in Stargate.
Where they kind of like slowly pop through.
Come through one at a time. They've got these ripples. Dargo reaches back in to pull Zahn out, and then
Zahn almost pleads to like leave her, but no, John's having none of it. He picks her up, carries her off.
Oh, I'm too weak. No, you're just on the ground. You can get it's fine.
Yeah.
And then the giant hand of Maldus reaches through. Like, that was so fucked up.
Yes, that was a bit weird. Weird in a fun way, but it seemed almost comical at that point, where he's just like trying to reach through and just grab them like the devil.
Giant, whoa, this is another escalation.
We saw weaponized DRDs are being picked up and pointed at the hand and being used as guns, I suppose, yeah.
Fire one.
Fire one!
And John runs over to the Prowler.
Grabs another one. Fire two. Yeah.
Fire two!
Yeah, and between the DRD and the Prowler, like I like to think that it's the DRD that does most of the work in blasting Maldus to smithereens.
Right, Maldus shows us his O-face.
That actor was having so much fun.
And yes, the portal gets blasted into bits.
And we are safe. This was such an exciting episode.
Well, a lot of dramatic tension at the beginning, and then it becomes a more exciting, how are we going to deal with our nemesis now?
And then there's a little bit of exposition to explain it. Chiana has it all figured out, and Rigel gets a headache.
Yep, and the final moments are with John and Zahn, in which like John talks like, "Oh, you were so brave, and you had him all fooled," and she goes like, "No, that's the most afraid that I've ever been."
Yep. And she's back in her, costume change. She's got her fantastic vestments again, her actual gold vestments.
Her shiny ones, yes. Well, it makes sense to do that.
I wonder if she considers herself leveled up again.
Well, she usually announces that.
Yeah, I mean, the last time was ding, level 10, able to protect. Now she's level 11, able to kick ass.
Well, definitely that. I didn't know she could move like that.
Comme ça.
Comme ça, yeah.
All right, Willies and Woodies.
She gives me a Woody.
She gives you the willies.
Ooh, I think my willy is definitely the Chiana burning up in the freezer scene.
Yeah,
that was just like, oh, I don't have to think about that. That was like, I wouldn't say traumatizing, but that was just like, oh God, this is like...
Yeah, even knowing that she's okay because she's got plot armor, like you never quite know.
No, that's not a nice way to go, that's like... and just screaming everything. Yeah.
Like, there's literally nothing... Well... Maybe my willy goes to Dargo and Crichton deciding that Chiana doesn't get to decide what about her own property and that they're going to take it away from her no matter what she wants.
Yes, I kind of agree with that, but there's also, you don't let kids play with knives, and this is like, and this is not knife, this is a chunk of uranium, so that's not like
that's affecting your mind.
Yeah, exactly. That's like I can see that happening. You have to sometimes you have to do an intervention, and it's not about property and not allowing her to have what she wants. There's clear and present danger. So
it is an aspect of caring, and they did first try it the proper way
to convince her about it. Yeah. Woody.
See, other than that, my willy would have been the scene with Aaron and the sort of Cavalier talk about like, oh, do you want to kick Pilot off? Aaron and John both. As we know from the production history, this was originally going to be in a different order. So I'm not going to count that one. Woodies are harder, though.
Oh, yes. I mean, I really loved the junket shop, the gift shop, the trinket shop. That was such a cool place to look around.
I love little shops like that. Yeah. Like I'd be right there with Rigel and Chiana. And like,
there isn't a single flying junk dealer in the uncharted territories that they'd pass up.
Mom, can we stop?
Can I spend another food cube?
Yeah, there was so much. I mean, Maldus... I've said it before, like, I'd never thought that he was a great fit for Farscape, but God, he was so much fun.
When all the atoms in your body are ripped apart and I consume what's left,
Then you'll know what pain is. And all this will happen in 100 microts from now. If you like a countdown.
Yes, he did have a little bit of we're just bringing in the old evil again, but I suppose it makes sense to think that he wanted A, revenge, and B, he still wanted Moya. Because he still wants Moya to be able to fly around and then feast on people's terror.
Yeah, he still wants a spaceship. Oh, there was a lot of great butt shots for John once again, and some fantastic like Ellen Ripley shots of Aaron. Everyone got to be really super duper hot this episode.
Also in the fight scene, we get this beautiful upskirt thigh-high Thursday shot of Maldis as he goes sprawling on the floor. It's like he shows a lot of leg there. You know,
yes. Way more than the ankle. That's absolutely scandalous.
It is. It goes like way beyond the knees even.
Scandalous.
But yes, I mean, like, yeah, even Dargo got to flick his hair around and...
Yeah, it's got the Lux and L'Oreal.
Maybe it's Maybelline.
I'm going to go for set design. Because that's just the kind of nerd that I am. Like
it was a very cool living in
really well executed.
Set. Yeah. It was fairly simple. I mean, it was just the corridor with the archways and then the big central hallway. It was barely used. I mean, Dargo was walking around in it briefly, but other than that, it looked gorgeous, and especially with the wibbly wobbly effect. There was no timey-wimey, just wibbly-wobbly.
Yes, very good. So what are we going to call this episode?
Obvious one would be a picture of Chiana Gray, but...
Oh, that's very good. We've also had like a picture of a girl on fire was suggested. Yeah. Let me see. I've got Zan and her plan, which I'm not crazy about. Magical mystery crap.
Magical mystery crap.
This is really hard, actually. Oh, I've got one.
Okay.
I don't do requests!
Yes,
like,
absolutely.
I have no idea why he's so fiery about that. Like, who hurt you, Maldis?
Yes, like, were you made to sing songs for people when you were like a little mind vampire?
And that's the story so far, Farscape.
We'll see you next week with another intermission.
Yes,
we have another great hiatus.
The greatest hiatus, as we've done before. Whenever in the original airing there was a long gap before we got to see the next episode, we're going to have that little experience for ourselves, Kay, so that you can enjoy Farscape
being
just
on the other
as I
side
did.
of the table. Yes.
So it's a little surprise what's going to happen next week. I'm very curious to find out. I hope you'll join us for it. It was a lot of fun the last time, and I'm looking forward to it again.
You can find us on sofarscape.com, on Twitter as well, Sofarscape, and on Facebook. I'm Kay.
I'm Kaki.
So Farscape, so good.